The galaxy was vast and full of secrets, but few secrets were kept as well as the ones on Earth. The Galactic Council, a coalition of many powerful alien civilizations, thought they knew almost everything worth knowing. They believed they could control the balance of power, manage disputes, and keep the peace. Humans who had joined the council only a few generations ago were respected for their creativity and adaptability, but not feared. In the grand scheme of things, the council thought humans were clever, even unpredictable, but not truly dangerous. But in the quiet corners of the galaxy, whispers had started to grow. Some council spies had reported strange energy readings near human territories. There were rumors of missing ships, odd signals, and debris from unknown ships that appeared more advanced than anything the council had seen. Most council leaders dismissed these stories, thinking they were just tales told by jumpy scouts or bored diplomats. But one alien, a council member named Verax, didn't laugh. Verax was a strategist from the Ulari, a species known for their sharp minds and sharper instincts. He listened to the rumors, watched the growing nervousness among other races, and wondered if there was more to humanity than anyone believed. One day, as Verax sat in the council chamber, a new report arrived. It described a small patrol of merchant ships that had vanished near the edge of human space. Their last message spoke of a shadow passing over the stars and a warning to stay away from a particular asteroid belt. Most delegates ignored it, but Verax felt a chill. He decided to act. He knew that the council would never agree to a full investigation. Instead, he would send his own scouts, cloaked and silent, to learn the truth. As Verax planned, life continued as usual for the humans. Earth's diplomats worked hard to keep their image peaceful and open. They hosted banquets, made deals, and sent ambassadors to every world that would have them. They always smiled and shook hands, never showing any sign of worry or anger. Behind the scenes, however, Earth's leaders watched the council just as carefully. They were aware of the rumors, and every strange question or diplomatic visit was quietly reported back to a central command. In the darkness of deep space, the Ulari scouts set out on their mission. Their small ship was nearly invisible, built with the best technology the council could provide. They passed through the edge of human territory, careful not to trigger any alarms. At first, everything seemed normal. They scanned old human defense, satellites, listened to commercial radio waves, and watched small cargo ships drift by. The humans appeared relaxed, their ships moving slowly with no signs of military patrols or hidden bases. But as the scouts drifted closer to the coordinates from the missing merchant ship's last message, things began to change. Their sensors picked up faint energy readings, strong, steady pulses that did not match anything in the council database. The ship's pilot, a young Ulari named Rin, frowned at the display. "These readings are unusual. Like nothing I've seen before," he said. The scout leader, Commander Jarek, ordered them to press on. Soon, they entered an asteroid belt, thicker than any the scouts had seen. Giant rocks spun through space, making navigation tricky. The cloaked ship moved slowly, weaving between tumbling stones. Suddenly, a massive shadow swept across their viewports. The crew froze. Through the haze of asteroid dust, something enormous moved. The scouts stared in silence. At first, they thought it was a moon or a large asteroid, but the shape was too perfect, too smooth. Then lights flickered on, dozens of them running in straight lines across the hull. A ship, but nothing like any the Ulari had ever seen. It was easily 5 times the size of a council dreadnought, with armored plates and turrets that seemed to vanish and reappear as the ship rotated. A silent alarm passed through the scouts' minds. This was not a relic or abandoned craft. It was a living warship, alive and watching. Commander Jarek whispered, "Get a scan, quickly. We need proof." Rin's hands flew over the controls, snapping pictures and collecting data. Every system on the scout ship strained to record as much as possible without alerting the giant ship to their presence. As they worked, another ship appeared, smaller, but still much larger than anything the scouts had ever encountered in human records. This ship moved with precision, escorting a line of drones carrying cargo containers the size of city buildings. The drones moved in perfect unison, docking smoothly at hidden ports along the large ship's side. It was clear the humans were not just hiding one ship, they had an entire fleet, hidden and working in secret. The Yulari scouts finished their scans, but as they turned to leave, disaster struck. One of the asteroids, nudged by the gravity of the enormous ship, changed course and slammed into their hull. The impact was minor, but it caused a power surge. The cloak flickered. Alarms blared across the scout ship. For a few seconds, they were exposed, a tiny, bright spot among the shadows. On the bridge of the massive human ship, alarms also sounded. "Unidentified signal detected," a human officer announced. "Possible cloaked vessel, Sector 5. The human captain, a calm and serious woman named Clara, gave orders in a voice that never wavered. "Send a drone to investigate. Keep weapons on standby, but do not fire unless attacked." The Yulari scouts panicked. Their cloak came back online, but not before the humans launched a small drone, sleek and fast, with sensors that swept through the asteroid belt like a searchlight. The scouts dodged and weaved, hiding behind rocks, praying they would not be found. Finally, after what felt like hours, the human drone returned to its ship. The scouts breathed a sigh of relief, knowing they had come dangerously close to discovery. When they finally escaped the asteroid belt, Commander Jarek sent a message back to Varax. "Mission complete. Humans are hiding something big. Evidence attached. Returning now." He looked at Rin and the rest of the crew, his eyes full of fear and respect. "No one can know about this until we reach the Council. The consequences are too great." Meanwhile, back on Earth, Captain Clara watched the data from the drone. She suspected that something had been watching them, but there was no proof. She sent a coded message to Earth Command. "Possible Council surveillance detected. Maintain security. Protocols. Increase sensor sweeps." The humans had been careful for years, always one step ahead, and they were not about to slip now. Varax received the scout's message in the middle of the night. As he reviewed the images and data, his hands shook. He called an emergency meeting of trusted allies, showing them the evidence, ships that dwarfed anything the Council had ever built, new technology that seemed almost magical, and the clear signs of a secret fleet hidden just out of sight. The reaction was mixed. Some were terrified, others thought it was a trick, and a few wanted to act at once. But Varax was patient. He knew that this information was both dangerous and valuable. If the Council overreacted, they could start a war. If they ignored it, humanity would continue to grow stronger in the shadows. He decided to wait for the scouts' full return before taking his next step. He would need every detail, every piece of evidence, before he could convince the Council to act. The Yulari scouts hurried through the quiet corridors of their ship, hearts pounding, as the stars of human territory grew smaller behind them. Commander Jarek kept his eyes on the sensors, checking for any sign of pursuit. Every few minutes, the image of that massive human ship flashed in his mind. The silent power of it, the rows of hidden weapons, and the unbroken lines of light. The scout ship was damaged, but still moving. Their mission was now simple: return to the Galactic Council and tell them what they had found. Inside the ship's small meeting room, Jarek gathered his team. Rin, the pilot, looked tired and worried. The other two scouts, Nina and Sar, sat close together, speaking in hushed voices. "Did you save the data?" Jarek asked. Rin nodded. "All of it. Images, energy readings, movement patterns. It's enough to prove the humans have something big out there." "Good," Jarek replied. "We can't let anyone intercept this. We keep the cloak on, no signals until we're out of human space." They moved carefully, traveling through asteroid fields and hiding behind dead moons to avoid detection. Hours passed in tense silence. Sometimes, strange shadows flickered on the monitors, and once, Nina saw a flash of light far behind them. But no human ships followed, and soon they reached the safe edge of Council territory. When the scouts finally docked at a Nulari outpost, Jarek sent an encrypted message to Varax. Within hours, Varax arrived at the outpost, his eyes sharp and full of worry. He demanded a private meeting, and the scouts gave their report in detail, showing every image and scan they had collected. Varax listened in silence, never interrupting, but his tail flicked in agitation. "This is worse than I imagined," he finally said. "If the Council sees this, everything will change." He paused, thinking hard. "We need to be careful. Some will want to strike at the humans. Others will try to cover this up, but everyone will want to know more." Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Clara met with her own superiors through a secure channel. She spoke with General Wilson, a careful and wise leader known for his steady judgment. "They saw something," Clara reported. "I can't prove it, but the drone readings were off. I think a cloaked ship was watching us." General Wilson's face stayed calm, but his eyes narrowed. "The Council has spies everywhere. They are probably afraid of what they might find. Double the patrols and keep all security systems at maximum alert. We cannot risk being discovered." "Now." "Yes, sir," Clara replied. She ended the call and looked out the window at the blackness of space. She knew that every move counted now. For years, humans had hidden their greatest secret, a fleet built in silence, with technology no one else in the galaxy had. The project had started after an old war, when humanity realized it could not rely on trust alone. Earth had smiled at the Council, signed all the right treaties, but behind closed doors, it prepared for the day it might need to defend itself. Back at the Galactic Council's capital, Varax hurried through endless marble halls and shining glass corridors. He carried the scouts' data in a sealed box, locked by a code only he knew. As he passed other delegates, tall, bright-skinned diplomats from 100 different worlds, he felt the weight of his secret. At the next council meeting, Varax called for a private session. He showed the images and readings from the scouts. The room grew quiet as the data played on the big screen. Ships the size of cities, energy signatures off the charts, human drones moving with perfect precision. For a long time, no one spoke. Finally, the council's chair, a wise old being from the planet Pharaon, broke the silence. "What does this mean for us?" A nervous delegate from the Threen species replied, "It means we are not as safe as we thought. If the humans have hidden such power, what else are they hiding?" Other delegates argued, their voices rising. Some said the humans had always been friendly and helpful, and there was no reason to be afraid. Others warned that if humans could build a secret fleet, they might one day use it to challenge the Council's power. A few even suggested attacking Earth before the humans grew stronger. Varax spoke carefully. "Attacking Earth would be a mistake. We do not know how many ships they have or how advanced their weapons are. If we move too quickly, we could start a war we cannot win." The debate went on for hours. In the end, the Council agreed to send a diplomatic mission to Earth. Their plan was simple: pretend they knew nothing and ask for a friendly inspection of human defense forces. The hope was to see if humans would admit anything or if they would react with fear. When Earth's ambassadors heard about the Council's request, they smiled and welcomed the idea. Ambassador Kate, a skilled negotiator, invited the Council's inspectors to a grand tour of Earth's main space station. She prepared speeches, decorated the halls, and made sure every visitor felt safe and welcome. But behind the scenes, she met with Captain Clara and General Wilson. "They're coming," she said. The Council wants to see our ships. What? Do we show them? Wilson thought for a moment. We give them exactly what they expect. Old ships, training missions, and nothing out of the ordinary. The real fleet stays hidden. Clara nodded. I'll double the guards and keep all secret. Projects on lockdown. If they try to go somewhere off limits, our security will handle it. The day of the inspection arrived. The Council's team was led by a serious and clever alien named Sylar. He walked through the main halls of Earth's space station, nodding, politely, and taking careful notes. The humans showed off their old battleships, training exercises, and cheerful young cadets. Everything looked normal, maybe even a little behind the times. Sylar asked many questions, but the humans always answered with a smile. These ships are our pride, Ambassador Kate said, waving at a line of polished but aging cruisers. They keep us safe and help us keep the peace. As the inspection ended, Sylar turned to Kate. Thank you for your honesty, he said, though he didn't believe a word. We look forward to more cooperation. When the Council's team left, Kate, Clara, and Wilson shared a quiet laugh. They didn't see a thing, Clara whispered. But Sylar wasn't fooled. As soon as he returned to the Council, he met with Varix and shared his suspicions. The humans are hiding something. I don't know where, but it's big. Their smiles were too perfect, their answers too smooth. Varix nodded. Then we need a new plan. If the humans will not show us their secrets, we must force their hand. We need a show of power. That night, Varix sent a message to the Council's military leaders. Within days, a large fleet was assembled, a show of force to make the humans nervous. The Council's ships, covered in banners and bristling with weapons, began their journey toward Earth. Meanwhile, deep in a hidden base on the far side of Earth's moon, the real human fleet waited in silence. Hundreds of ships stood ready, cloaked in the shadows. Captains watched their screens as the Council fleet drew closer. On the main command deck, General Wilson stood beside Captain Clara, their faces serious but determined. This is what we prepared for, Wilson said. If they try anything, we're ready. Clara nodded. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. The tension spread across both fleets as the Council ships entered the solar system. Every move was watched, every signal was analyzed. Earth's diplomats sent friendly messages, inviting the Council's leaders to another round of talks. But beneath the surface, everyone knew that one wrong move could start a war. The stars above Earth seemed peaceful, but beneath that calm, a storm was gathering. The Galactic Council fleet moved into position just outside the solar system, every ship shining with lights and bristling with weapons. It was supposed to be a peaceful visit, a diplomatic inspection, but everyone on both sides knew this was something more. This was a test, and perhaps the beginning of something much bigger. On Earth's moon, in a command center hidden deep inside a crater, General Wilson stood in front of a large screen that showed the approaching Council fleet. Captain Clara and several other officers watched with him, their faces tense. How long until they reach orbit? General Wilson asked. Clara checked her display. Less than 2 hours, sir. All cloak fields are holding. Our ships remain hidden. Wilson nodded, then turned to his staff. We stick to the plan. Show the Council only what they expect. Our real fleet does not move, does not speak, does not blink. If they scan, they see nothing. If they probe, we redirect their signals. We must protect the secret, no matter what. Meanwhile, on one of the Council's flagships, Admiral Loruk, a tall and sharp-eyed alien with blue scales, reviewed the latest reports. He spoke to Sylar, the same inspector who had visited Earth's space station. They know we're coming, but they act like it's a regular visit, Loruk said, his voice low. Do you think the humans are ready for us? Sylar frowned. They are always ready, Admiral, but we will find out soon enough. As the fleet reached Earth, the Council sent a message, formal, friendly, but with a clear undertone of power. The Galactic Council wishes to visit Earth and observe your defensive systems. Please welcome our delegates. Earth replied with equal formality, inviting the Council leaders to the same grand space station as before. Ambassador Kate was ready, her speech practiced, her smile never leaving her face. "We are honored to welcome the Council fleet," she said, as cameras flashed and dignitaries gathered. "Earth believes in peace, in cooperation, and in friendship, with all galactic neighbors." The Council fleet sent small shuttles to the station. They carried groups of officers, scientists, and diplomats from many worlds. They asked questions about Earth's defense plans, its technology, and its ships. Once again, humans showed them only the old cruisers and patrol boats, explaining every system as if there was nothing to hide. But the Council experts weren't so easily fooled this time. One alien scientist, a slender being named Ziri, tried to access the space station's restricted areas. She asked clever questions, peered at locked doors, and quietly scanned for hidden tech. But everywhere she turned, she met polite but firm human guards. "This area is off-limits," they would say with a calm smile. "For your safety and ours." In the shadows of the command center, General Wilson watched these scenes unfold on hidden cameras. "They're getting bolder," he said. "They know something is wrong, but they have no proof." Captain Clara nodded. "They are desperate to find our fleet, sir. What do we do if they push harder?" Wilson's face hardened. "Then we hold our ground. We have prepared too long and sacrificed. Too much to give up now." Meanwhile, far away from Earth in the Council fleet's war room, Admiral Lorak spoke with Verax. "We have seen nothing unusual. The humans are hiding something, I'm sure of it. But their security is too good. We must provoke a reaction." Verax agreed. "The only way to learn their secret is to make them show it. But we cannot attack openly. The rest of the galaxy would not support a war against Earth, not without proof." Lorak thought for a moment, his eyes narrowing. "Perhaps we can simulate an accident, something that will force their hand." Later that day, the Council fleet began a series of training exercises dangerously close to Earth's moon. Giant ships maneuvered in tight formations, their weapons powered but aimed away from Earth. One cruiser, piloted by a group of young and nervous aliens, accidentally fired a small pulse weapon into a nearby asteroid field. The blast caused several rocks to fly toward the moon, directly toward the hidden human base, deep inside. The lunar base. Alarms blared. The main screen flashed red as the asteroid fragments sped closer. "Impact in 6 minutes, an officer announced. "Trajectory leads straight to Section 9. Housing for our engineers." Clara jumped into action. "Activate emergency defenses. Prepare shield projectors. Do not reveal our full power, just enough to protect the base." Outside, invisible to the Council's sensors, hidden projectors lit up. A shimmering energy field appeared around the affected section. The asteroids hit the shield, breaking apart with a silent explosion of dust and light. From the Council's point of view, only a faint disturbance registered, just enough to suggest there was something hidden on the moon, but not enough to reveal the truth. Admiral Lorak watched his monitors with growing interest. "Did you see that?" he asked. "Their shield tech is advanced, more than they let on." Sylar nodded. "But it was a small display, just a taste. They're still hiding something much bigger." Back on Earth, Ambassador Kate met again with the Council's leaders, her tone as pleasant as ever. "We noticed. Your fleet's exercise came very close to our moon. Please, for safety, keep your weapons pointed away from all inhabited bodies. Accidents can be dangerous." The Council leaders gave polite apologies, promising greater care. But the message was clear to everyone. Both sides were watching each other closely, waiting for a mistake. As days passed, tension grew. News spread, among other Council worlds, that something strange was happening at Earth. Media from dozens of planets started to arrive, sending broadcasts and reports home. "Is Earth hiding a superweapon?" some asked. Does humanity have secrets the Council fears? Others speculated. Humans kept their answers calm, always speaking of peace, cooperation, and progress. But the rumors only grew. Inside the hidden lunar base, General Wilson called a meeting of his top commanders. "The Council won't give up," he warned. "We need to be ready. If they force us to reveal our fleet, we must do it on our terms, not theirs." The human fleet's captains listened closely. Some were afraid, but most were determined. They knew they were guardians of Earth's greatest secret, and perhaps its last line of defense. Captain Clara spoke up. "If we show them our fleet, they will have to accept that Earth is an equal power, not a servant or a minor member. But if we're not careful, they might see us as a threat and try to unite against us." General Wilson nodded. "That's why we keep calm. We wait for their next move. And if the time comes, we reveal our fleet not as a weapon of war, but as a shield for peace." Meanwhile, in the Council fleet, Verax and Loruk plotted their next step. They knew Earth would not give up its secret easily, and they began to worry. What if the humans were not just hiding a fleet, but had other secrets too? What if Earth's technology was far ahead of anything in the galaxy? They sent secret messages to their home worlds, warning them to prepare for anything. Back on Earth, life continued almost as normal. Most people didn't know about the hidden fleet or the growing tension. But in some places, like government offices and military bases, people watched the skies and waited. School children drew pictures of spaceships, never guessing that real ones waited in silence on the far side of the moon. On the last night before the Council's fleet was set to leave, a message arrived at Earth's command. It was a private encoded note from Verax to Ambassador Kate. "We know you are hiding something," it said. "The Council will not be fooled forever. Show us the truth or we will take stronger action." Kate showed the message to General Wilson and Captain Clara. Together, they made a choice. "Tomorrow we answer," Kate said, "but we do it our way." The first light of dawn spilled over Earth's blue horizon, touching the city towers and mountaintops. People all over the world woke up, not knowing that today would be different from any other day in history. Out in space, the Galactic Council fleet waited in low orbit, its ships shining like new coins under the sun. Each ship had its own purpose. Diplomats, scientists, warriors, all waiting for a sign, all hoping for answers. Inside Earth's command center on the moon, General Wilson stood before his officers, his face calm, but his voice steady and strong. "This is it," he said, looking at Captain Clara and Ambassador Kate. "Today we stop hiding, but we do it on our terms, with respect and without threats." Kate nodded. She felt the weight of the moment. For years, Earth's leaders had kept the secret fleet hidden, hoping to avoid fear and war. Now, the time had come to trust in humanity's strength and wisdom. Clara checked her tablet, making sure every officer and ship captain knew their orders. Across the hidden lunar base, thousands of crew members prepared for the biggest reveal in human history. "Send the invitation," General Wilson said. Kate composed a message to the Galactic Council leaders, inviting them to a special demonstration on the far side of the moon. The message was polite, formal, and offered complete transparency if the Council agreed to come peacefully and keep an open mind. Minutes later, the Council's flagship replied. Admiral Loruk and Verax accepted the invitation. "We appreciate your honesty and look forward to learning the truth," the message said, though both Council leaders felt nervous. They wondered if this was a trap or a trick. Still, curiosity and duty pushed them forward. The Galactic Council shuttle touched down near a tall silver dome on the dark side of the moon. Loruk, Verax, Sylar, and several Council aides stepped onto the gray dust, escorted by Captain Clara and a team of human officers. Ambassador Kate met them with a handshake and a smile. "Thank you for coming," Kate said. "What you see today will change your understanding of Earth, and maybe the galaxy." The group walked into the dome, passing through several security checks. Inside, the council leaders saw a vast underground hangar, walls lined with control screens, engineers, moving quickly between workstations, and soldiers standing at attention. It was busy but peaceful, everyone focused on their tasks. General Wilson met them at the center of the hangar. "Welcome," he said, his tone friendly but direct. "For many years, Earth has been working on a project for our own safety and the safety of the galaxy. We never meant to threaten anyone, but we also knew we had to be prepared." Lorik looked around, eyes wide. "What kind of project?" he asked, though he already guessed the answer. "We'll show you," Wilson said. He gave a signal, and one of the giant walls began to slide open. Bright lights flooded in, revealing a massive launch bay filled with ships. They were not the old, rusty cruisers the Council had seen before. These were new, sleek, powerful, covered in strange armor and glowing with energy fields. Varax took a step forward, unable to hide his shock. "How many ships do you have?" he asked. Clara answered honestly. "Hundreds, all built in secret, all hidden from your sensors. Some are here on the moon, others are hidden throughout the solar system." The council leaders stared as several of the largest ships rose from the bay, moving out onto the lunar surface. Their engines glowed blue and gold. Automated drones moved supplies from station to station. Even the smallest ship looked more advanced than anything the council had in its own fleets. "Your technology is beyond anything we have seen," Sylar whispered, studying the ships as they passed overhead. "Why keep it hidden?" General Wilson spoke carefully. "After humanity joined the Council, we realized not every world wanted peace. There were threats, there were betrayals, and there were times when we felt alone. So we made a decision. We would build a fleet that could defend Earth but also help others if needed. We kept it hidden to avoid panic. We feared that if the galaxy saw our true strength too soon, it might cause war, not peace." Loruk and Varax looked at each other. The truth was heavy. "And now?" Loruk asked. Kate answered. "Now we trust you. We show you everything. Not because we want to scare you, but because we want to move forward as equals. Earth is not your enemy, but we are not weak." The demonstration began. Earth's officers guided the council leaders through the base, showing advanced labs where engineers worked on shield technology, drone control rooms where operators managed thousands of small ships, and weapon systems that could hit a target anywhere in the solar system within seconds. The council delegates saw soldiers in training, disciplined, calm, and ready. They met scientists who had mastered new forms of energy, making the ships faster, safer, and almost invisible to normal. Sensors outside, on the lunar surface, the human fleet assembled in perfect formation. The council leaders watched through armored windows as the ships performed maneuvers, shifting patterns and speeds with flawless precision. One moment the ships lined up in rows, the next they split apart and reformed in a circle, demonstrating both unity and flexibility. Varax whispered to Sylar, "If these ships were ever used in war, they could defeat any fleet we have." Sylar nodded, eyes wide. The demonstration ended with a final display. A human ship launched a harmless energy beam at a distant asteroid, slicing it in half. Another ship sent out a swarm of repair drones that rebuilt the asteroid's surface in minutes, showing both power and creativity. As the council leaders prepared to leave, General Wilson gathered everyone for a final speech. "We do not want to rule the galaxy," he said, his voice steady. "We only want to live in peace and be treated as equals. Our fleet will never attack unless provoked, but if Earth is threatened, we will defend ourselves. And any ally who seeks our help." Ambassador Kate turned to the council. "Will you share this truth with your worlds, or will you hide it?" Loruk hesitated, looking at the other council members. "We must think carefully," he admitted. "The galaxy is not ready for this. Many will be afraid." Kate nodded. "Fear can be dangerous, but hiding the truth can be worse." The council shuttle returned to its flagship. the leaders deep in thought. They sent a private message to the other council ships. The humans have revealed a fleet far beyond our expectations. Their intentions are peaceful, but their power is real. We recommend caution, respect, and open talks. As news of the demonstration spread quietly among the highest ranks of the council, the galaxy began to change. Some worlds reacted with fear, others with curiosity, and a few with hope. Rumors swirled on media channels. Stories of secret human weapons, mysterious ships, and a new balance of power. On Earth, General Wilson, Captain Clara, and Ambassador Kate met one last time in the command center. "We did what we had to do," Clara said. "Now the galaxy knows the truth," Wilson smiled. "And now, we wait. We watch, and we prepare for whatever comes next." After the grand reveal, the atmosphere in the galaxy shifted. Word spread quickly among the highest ranks of every alien world, and soon rumors traveled even to distant outposts. The story of Earth's secret fleet became the hottest topic everywhere, from small trading posts on forgotten moons to the shining council chambers at the center of the galaxy. Yet the true details were still known only to a few, and those who knew struggled with what to do next. On the flagship of the Galactic Council, Admiral Loruk met privately with Varax, Sylar, and the other senior delegates. The council chamber was silent as everyone waited for Loruk to speak. He looked around at the serious faces, then finally said, "We now know that Earth is not weak. Their fleet could challenge any power in the galaxy, but they did not attack. Instead, they invited us to see the truth. What do we do?" The room, filled with voices. Some delegates felt fear, others felt respect. A few were angry that humans had hidden such power. "Can we trust them?" asked a green-skinned delegate from the planet Drayson. "Will they use this fleet against us?" Varax spoke carefully. "The humans could have used their fleet at any time, but they didn't. They built it in secret, not to conquer, but to defend. If we push them or treat them as enemies, we could start a war that no one can win." Sylar agreed. "They want to be equals, not rulers. Perhaps it is time for us to listen." While the council debated, life on Earth tried to return to normal. But for those in command, everything had changed. General Wilson called a meeting in the lunar base with Captain Clara, Ambassador Kate, and the captains of the hidden fleet. The command room buzzed with quiet voices, everyone knowing the eyes of the galaxy were now watching. "The council is scared," said Clara. "They respect our power, but they're afraid of what it means. Some worlds might want to attack before we get stronger." General Wilson nodded. "And some may want to join us. The galaxy is full of those who fear the council's power. Now, they see Earth as a shield, not just for ourselves, but for others." Ambassador Kate had already received dozens of secret messages from other alien leaders. Some offered friendship, others wanted to visit Earth, and a few even asked for help against local bullies or pirates. Kate was careful, replying with kindness, but making no promises. "We need to be smart," Kate said. "If we look too eager to lead, the council will see us as a threat. But if we act weak, they'll try to control us again. We have to find balance." Meanwhile, in the city streets below, people learned about the secret fleet through news reports and official announcements. Most humans felt a strange mix of pride and fear. They were glad their leaders had kept Earth safe, but they wondered what the future might bring. School children looked up at the moon at night, imagining the great ships hidden there, ready to defend their world. Soon, the council called a special emergency meeting, inviting delegates from every member world. For the first time, Earth was given equal voting power and a seat at the highest table. The council hall was larger than any stadium on Earth, filled with the colors and shapes of hundreds of species. The air was tense as Ambassador Kate stood to speak for humanity. She looked across the crowd and spoke in a clear, steady voice. For too long, Earth was seen as small, as weak, as new. We watched, We listened, and we learned. But we also saw dangers, threats, and wars that nearly destroyed us. So we built our fleet to protect our home and to keep the peace. Some council members grumbled, but most listened in silence. Kate continued, "We do not seek to rule the galaxy. We only ask for respect and partnership. We offer our fleet as a shield, not just for Earth, but for any world that seeks peace. If you threaten us, we will defend ourselves. But if you offer friendship, you will find us loyal and strong." The HFY delegates discussed Kate's words for hours. Finally, Admiral Loruk and Varax took the floor. "Humanity has proven itself," Loruk said. "They are strong, but not cruel. They ask for respect, and we must give it. Let us create a new pact, one, where all worlds, human and alien, work together for peace." The vote was not easy, but in the end, the majority agreed. Earth was given full rights in the Council, and a new treaty was signed. The Galactic Pact for Peace allowed every world to defend itself and to ask for help from the others, especially from Earth's fleet if needed. Humanity was no longer an outsider. They were a leader. News of the treaty spread quickly. Some worlds celebrated in their cities, firing colorful lights into the sky. Others were unsure and watched carefully, waiting to see if humans would keep their promise. But on Earth, there was relief and hope. For the first time, humans felt truly welcome in the galaxy. Inside the hidden lunar base, General Wilson met with his team one last time. "We did it," he said, his eyes shining with pride. "Not just by building ships, but by showing trust and patience. We kept Earth safe, and now we help keep the galaxy safe too." Captain Clara smiled. "It wasn't easy, sir, but I think we made history," Kate agreed. "And we'll need to keep working hard. There will be new challenges, new threats, and new friendships. But now we face them together." In the weeks that followed, Earth welcomed new visitors, alien scientists, diplomats, and even students, all wanting to learn from humanity's example. Joint missions were launched to help weak worlds, stop pirates, and bring food to planets suffering from drought. Everywhere the human fleet went, they were met with cheers, and sometimes suspicion. But no one dared challenge them openly again. Varax, back on his home planet, wrote a report to the Council. "The greatest strength of humanity is not their weapons or their ships," he wrote. "It is their courage, their willingness to hope, and their ability to unite. We must learn from them, or we may fall behind."